Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. May 19th, 2025. Let's get into it. So, what did you think of that clip up front? The reason I played that was because a guy posted it. And he said, "Can somebody please explain what the hell this is?" And sometimes you read what somebody's comment with the clip, and I was thinking the same damn thing. I was going, "What the hell is that, man?" But the great thing about X is somebody will answer the question, and so they did, and it turns out that is a huge sign of respect that is usually reserved only for the royal family. So the fact that they did that for Trump evidently was a sign of how much they revere Trump. I don't know if you remember when Biden visited Saudi Arabia and all he got was a fist bump. so anyway, but yeah, they really, if you watched any of the videos, they really rolled out the red carpet for Trump. I mean, it was amazing how they treated him like a damn conqueror. And then, of course, I don't know how many trillions of dollars they're going to invest in the United States now, you know. And anyway, we're going to get to it. We got some more on that, but let's get this video out of the way up front. Since I'm talking about Trump and his visit to the Middle East, I'm going a little bit out of order from my notes. You know what? Before I get into that, I did want to talk about a couple of things. You know, number one is I'm getting upwards of 10,000 impressions on some of my videos on X, which is great. I'm glad that's happening. I don't know if that means they actually watch the videos. I don't know about you. I can't watch a long form interview on my cell phone, you know, or maybe people just put it on the dash and listen to it. I don't know, but I highly encourage you to watch it on the big screen. Now I'm shadow banned on YouTube, but it's that cybersecurity guy. All one word, ThatCyberSecurityGuy on YouTube. Now, people have encouraged me. They said, "Why don't you open up another channel on YouTube?" Well, YouTube has categories, and I have a Watching the World Burn category. So that's the reason why, you know, I just left it on that channel on YouTube. But anyway, the other one, I would prefer you go to, because I'm shadow banned on YouTube. You can't even, if you search for me, you won't even find me a lot of times. Even though I've got thousands of videos posted on YouTube. I'm just telling you how much they hate me. They can't stand that cybersecurity guy on YouTube. But go to The Burn on Rumble. The Burn, all one word, on Rumble. Real short name, easy to remember. And watch my videos there. And that's all just geopolitics, whereas on That Cybersecurity Guy, that's kind of a mix of videos. That's got my hiking videos and other, you know, like I'm going to be doing, I'll advertise a couple of videos that are coming up. I'm going to be building a trellis for my tomato plants, and I'm going to show you how I do it. And I've watched various YouTube videos. My design's going to be slightly different than anybody else that you see on YouTube, and it should be a fun project. I'm not going to hyper speed it. I'm just going to put clips together. You know, we're going to show you as it comes together, and I'll talk about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So that's one video, and then another video is going to be on Gaza. I was going to talk about Gaza in today's video and just mix it in with the news, but I realized that's a video of itself. I got to make a whole video on that. In fact, I was hoping to film that video today, but I just couldn't put everything together for two videos. Good God, it's hard enough just doing one. But anyway, let's, also since we're talking about Trump, oh yeah, and also I wanted to answer a question that somebody put out, because that's one of the first things I want to do up front on my videos, because I do respond to my comments always. And a person asked me, says, "How come you don't make a video every day like some of the other YouTubers, like Alex Christoph, who just walks around Cyprus and films his video?" Because that's kind of who gave me the idea to make these walking videos. Plus, I got to get my exercise anyway. So I come out here, by the way, it's hotter than hell. I mean, it's like 95 degrees and humidity. Oh my God. The dog days of summer are coming here in Florida. It makes making these videos a lot more difficult. I mean, you can hear I'm just winded as hell. But sorry, keep getting on to a tangent. But, oh yeah, so the question was, why don't I? Well, I'm going to tell you, I have a life. I don't have a team of people that helps me make these videos, number one. And number two, I have a rule that before I come out and hike for 3 or 4 hours and make one of these videos and put together what I'm going to talk about and get my theme and all of that stuff together, I make sure that everything is done around the house. So before I can come out and make a video, the dishes have got to be done. The laundry's got to be done. The bathroom's got to be clean. The floor's got to be vacuumed. And then, of course, I always, in between videos, I do a big project. Like I might detail the car, you know, wash, wax, and vacuum the car, for example. Or we're going to be building that trellis. So I'll be working on that between making videos. Or, you know, a lot of times I'm meeting contractors, although that's pretty much over with. Like I just had my roof regenerated, or I got to go up on the roof and blow leaves, or I got to trim the damn bushes, or I got to blow the leaves. So you can see, you know, all of those things have to be done, because once I come out here, filming the video only takes, you know, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 minutes, you know, but going back, editing the video, capturing the clips, uploading the video, it'll take me a good 15 hours sometimes to get a video up. So, you know, if I'm going to do all of that, that means I'm neglecting everything around the house. So that means that I got to have food in the fridge to eat, prepared ahead of time before I make the video. I got to have water in the fridge because, you know, anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just crying on your shoulder. So yeah, there's no way in hell I can make a video unless I was just going to do a sit-down video. Those are easy. You know, if you watch Stephen Gardner, for example, he just sits in a chair and talks to you. That's not what I do. I want you to enjoy nature. I want to give you a different look on the video. And I like Alex's videos, but you're just looking around town. He does get some nice views of the ocean. I try to get you out in nature. All right, so enough of that. So anyway, there's going to be a phone call coming up between Trump and Putin tomorrow, supposedly. To me, it's a waste of time. If I can find it, I'll put it in this video. If not, it'll be in the next video. Putin has already laid down many times his requirements to stop the war. Now, briefly, I'll just give them to you. He wants the 4 oblasts. That would mean that the Ukrainians will withdraw from what territory they still hold and turn that over to the Russians. Ukrainians aren't going to do that. All right? So Russia's going to take it by force. And they're advancing, I told you in the last video, about 25 kilometers a day. Well, it's gotten to be a little bit more than that. And they're taking town after town. So whether Ukraine wants to give it up or not, it's going to be Russia's. And nothing Trump can do about that. Trump proposed secondary sanctions if Russia doesn't do anything. Well, how the hell is Trump going to sanction China and India and Brazil and all the countries, Pakistan, whoever else, is buying Russian gas and oil? Okay? Because that's what a secondary sanction is. He's telling the country that they got to pay the sanctions to buy Russian oil. Well, China ain't going to, pardon my French, fucking pay the United States for Russian oil. Trump can levy all the secondary sanctions he wants. It's meaningless. Absolutely fucking meaningless. And I don't know why people on Trump's staff don't just explain this to him, because he looks stupid doing it. You know, the other guy, we got to denazify Ukraine. Yes, there are Nazis in Ukraine. Hard to believe. And they've committed some serious crimes. And Russia said they're going to hold them all accountable, especially the ones in the Kherson region that killed and abused civilians when they took that territory. Now, of course, that's back in Russian hands, and they're advancing coming down from the north. On that note, yes, the Russian summer offensive has begun, whether you want to believe it or not. The summer offensive is here. They're bringing up the reserves, and they are fucking crushing Ukraine. I mean, crushing Ukraine. And anybody that tells you differently doesn't know what, because I'm going to cuss on this video, what the fuck they're talking about. All right, because I'm not monetized anyway, so what do I care? Good God. So there's that. And then, of course, demilitarize. Well, they've been demilitarizing NATO, not Ukraine, NATO. And they've pretty much accomplished that. So that's one that they don't have to worry about. What's the other one that they wanted? Let's see. Oh, NATO can never join, Ukraine can never join NATO. It's got to be in writing. And they're pointing this out right now. Who the hell in Ukraine is going to sign onto a peace treaty? Oh, we're going to do a 30-day ceasefire. Why the fuck would Russia stop for a 30-day ceasefire when they're rolling right over top of Ukraine? Oh, we're going to give NATO 30 days to bring more weapons into Ukraine, so that now, after the 30 days, they're going to be repositioned, dug in, and have all new weapons to fight the Russians with. They're not going to agree to any sort of ceasefire. Is it just me that's got a lick of fucking common sense? My God, how stupid can you be? And anyway, so that's a summary. I think there's a couple more that Putin, and by the way, Europe they grabbed one of the Russian tankers, I don't know, a while back. I didn't cover it in a video. So what did Russia do? They just grabbed a NATO tanker. And they said, oh, we're gonna, because obviously there's something wrong with this tanker. So you can see what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If Europe wants to keep fucking with Russia, Russia's got to, think of Great Britain. You know how many ships are in their navy? 4. The rest are in mothballs or under maintenance. 4 ships. I don't even know how many Russia has. Maybe I'll look that up if I can find it and put it in this video. And not only that, Russia just launched this monster freaking submarine. It carries 16 ballistic missiles capable of traveling 10,000 miles each, multiple nuclear warheads on those missiles capable of hitting multiple targets. You gonna fuck with Russia? Stupid. Trump should just cut the freaking arms off, tell Ukraine good riddance. The other one was that they want elections. You understand it's a dictatorship in Ukraine, you fucking idiots. Zalensky didn't hold the election, and Russia says that's an illegitimate government, which it is. It's a dictatorship. And Russia says we want, because, are you going to believe anything that Zelensky signs? A dictator? I wouldn't. So Russia wants a legitimate government in Ukraine, which means holding elections, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a Russian puppet. Everybody goes, oh, well, then it'll be a Russian puppet. No, you could put UN inspectors in there and do the election right. This is going to be a long video. All right, so I wanted to hit on the next theme here. Was if you watched my last video, which by the way is doing real well, 3,000 impressions so far on X, was I talked about the lying media and how they have no credibility. Well, and I unfortunately, sometimes you make the video and you're like, oh, damn it, I forgot to put this in and I forgot to put that in. All right, so we got a clip. This is Lindy Lee on Jake Tapper. This was meant to go in the last video. Let's just put it in this video. Let's watch that.
That is a group of people who spent years lying to us about Hunter Biden, the Biden family, and the money they were taking. If they'd at least criticized Biden, I might have disagreed with them, but at least respected their take on Trump. But none of you did it. You're just a bunch of hacks.
Yeah, Mark, and honestly, watching that makes me physically ill because they removed me from CNN and MSNBC when I raised Biden's age over the summer and before. I used to go on CNN and MSNBC all the time, but I got blacklisted and they would have Ian Sams, White House spokesperson, take my place anytime I did get booked. So it really just makes me revolted to see Jake Tapper on his current rehabilitation tour pretending like he's not the one who is one of the most strident cover-uppers of Biden's decline. He saw it, everybody saw it. And the White House threatened me when I spoke up. So these people are liars. They lied about everything. They lied about Biden's broken brain. They lied about how we needed a bipartisan bill to fix the border. No, we just needed a president who was willing. And they lied about Kamala Harris's competence. She went from a dud to a superstar overnight, and it was all media manipulation.
Yeah. Linda, I feel sorry for their viewers because you're clearly better than Ian.
And thank you for joining us now as well. We appreciate that.
All right, so that was her. By the way, I want to tell you, everybody keeps asking on X, who ran the Biden government? Talk to freaking Lindy Lee. She was an insider all the way up until Biden lost the election. She knows exactly who was running the government, and she spoke about it in an interview. The problem was I didn't recognize the names. I thought it was probably Blinken or Sullivan, which I imagine they had a huge hand in the government. And anyway, but I did want to read this to you. This was from Gunther Engelman. Joe Scarborough in March lying to you. And if you can't handle the truth, damn it, bugs in my eye. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. If it weren't for the truth, I wouldn't say it. So this is how the media was lying to your face. Only a Democrat would believe this bullshit. Let's watch that video.
And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
All right, so good. That got us over the last video. So now we're going to get into this video. We're going to get back to Trump's visit to the Middle East. Now, one of the things that people are complaining about was Trump met with the terrorist, a terrorist, by the way, that veterans are upset about, because he chopped American heads off, I think, in Afghanistan, or maybe it was in Iraq. I don't know which it was. I mean, this guy is guilty of killing Americans. And yet Trump comes in and calls him a great guy, shakes his hand. NATO dresses him up in a suit, and all of a sudden, because he's the new leader, supposedly, of Syria. And but you got to understand, Trump pointed out in his speech that you do you, we do us. And that's what he told the Middle East. And think about it. Syria chopped off the head of one of their reporters. Was he an American citizen? I can't remember. Anyway, I mean, Saudi Arabia, excuse me, chopped off the head of one of the reporters. I don't know if you remember that story from way back. Trump, he's hugging on him and everything else. So that guy's a murderer too. So what are you going to do? If you're going to live in the world that we live in, sometimes you're going to have to deal with murderers and corrupt people. I mean, look at Xi. He's a dictator. Yet Trump, I'm sure if he went to China, they'd be hugging on each other. Probably Xi would roll out the red carpet, give Trump a huge welcome. Look at what Xi got in San Francisco. They actually cleaned the streets off in San Francisco when Xi paid a visit to the United States, which proved that they can clean up their areas. It's just the Democrats want to destroy the United States. And people don't understand that. But anyway, this is a video from George Galloway on Syria and what's going on there. And I can't do any better than George does at explaining everything. Let's watch that video now.
What I do know is that the Syrian people are hungry. The Syrian people have endured decades now of misery in a long civil war, a war in which one of the civil war parties was backed by the Western Empire to the tune of hundreds of millions, maybe more, in terms of money, to the tune of every piece of weaponry they could possibly carry in the pickup trucks that they mysteriously acquired. And was, of course, also buttressed by thousands, maybe tens of thousands, of foreign jihadist fighters from every part of the Muslim world, and indeed not a few from the Western world. I recognize that Jolani is in control. I recognize that the Syrian people need relief from sanctions. I recognize, therefore, that Western governments are going to, one after the other, meet with and shake hands with Jolani. What I found impossible to accept was Donald Trump's explanation on board Air Force One. It'll soon be Air Force Two, because the Qataris have given him the world's biggest and best aircraft to be the new Air Force One. And I'll come back to them in a minute. Donald Trump, when asked how his meeting with Jolani had gone, said this: he's a young man, a very attractive young man. a man with a strong past, a very strong past. If I tell you that 20 years ago, to the day, this day, 20 years ago, Giuliani was carted off to an American prison as the deputy leader of Al-Qaeda. You know, the Al-Qaeda that brought down the Twin Towers in the United States, or at least that's the official story. The Al-Qaeda that cut people's throats on camera, including American citizens, including British citizens, including citizens from most countries in the Western world. The Al-Qaeda that cut open people's chests and ate their hearts. The Al-Qaeda that crucified people. That Al-Qaeda. The Al-Qaeda that spawned ISIS. Who was the deputy leader of ISIS? No less than this very attractive, very strong, tough young man that Donald Trump was cavorting with last evening. It's either a grotesque failure of memory on the part of the United States of America about the mass murder of their own people. If Al-Qaeda brought down the Twin Towers, that would explain the $10 million bounty on Giuliani's head until 7 weeks ago in the United States. He was wanted, dead or alive, $10 million reward because he was the deputy leader of Al-Qaeda, because he was the deputy leader of ISIS. But now, he's a very attractive, strong, young man. Seriously, Donald? I don't know if Giuliani danced to YMCA in that orgy in Riyadh last evening. But if he did, it wouldn't be the strangest thing about what happened yesterday. It's the mother of all talk shows. Stay tuned.
All right, so that finishes off on Syria and the Middle East trip. So now we're going to move on to the next topic here. And this is Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. They just sat down with, what's her name, Maria Antonato, or whatever, of Fox News. By the way, it seems like Fox News is the only channel that gets all the interviews. I don't know why Trump administration won't do an interview with anybody else, you know, like one of the independents or, well, you know, Trump did get on Joe Rogan, but, you know, that's not the same thing. Rogan's just more of a conversation, but I would like to see some of the officials. And by the way, they did shut out, Trump didn't allow AP News, Forbes, what was the third one? Anyway, there was 3 news agencies. Oh, Bloomberg, yeah, that's it. Ah, well, good. Here, well, I'm not going to go that way. The reason I'm on the main trail here was the ground's so dry, the crunch, crunch, crunch drives my listeners crazy. So we'll just stay on the main trail so you won't hear that crunch, crunch, crunch. I don't know why. When you walk on these pine needles, man, it's loud as hell. They're worse than leaves, man. And people were complaining about the leaves. Okay. Where the hell was I? So yeah, he didn't allow them on the plane, and they're all bitching about the fact that Trump cut them off. They're just propaganda for the CIA. Why would Trump want them around? And it looks like they're going to be conducting a lottery, and they are going to let people into the press briefing room, which is good. All right, but this is just a clip. I posted the whole video up on my feed on X. I'm not going to post it anywhere else, or actually someone else posted it. I just reposted it, and you got to watch the whole interview. It's about 35 minutes long, and it describes exactly what's taking place. A lot of good things are coming, people. A lot of good things. You just got to watch that interview. But this was a clip that somebody took, and it was easy for me to just record it and give you a taste of what that is in that video. Let's watch that now.
FBI. So we have a multi-part process. First of all, our priorities, simple: crush violent crime, defend the homeland, rigorous organizational accountability, And the fourth, which leads directly to your question, aggressive constitutional oversight with Congress. The way we rebuild trust is we already have the men and women here in the rank and file that signed up to be cops, that signed up to be intel analysts, that signed up to be special support staff, that want to do the work. That's why we're sending them into the field. We can talk about that later. What we need America to know is that this place was politicized, and Congress has rightfully requested the documents from Crossfire Hurricane to January 6th to the Richmond Catholic Memo and so much more. But now finally Americans are reading for themselves the documentation where a very select few leaders in the former FBI decided to politicize it. We don't need me and the deputy telling you it's politicized. We want the American people to read it, and now they are.
And I know I lived with it for you. I watched it with you and Devin Nunes when you were truth tellers on all of this, and you were as well, Deb, throughout the Russia collusion story and the rest.
Look, I can speak to the folks that were in our seats, our predecessors, and they intentionally failed the American public by putting on the biggest DC deception game we've ever seen. They said the FBI was the most storied institution for law enforcement, and it was, and it will be again very soon. But when the likes of Comey and McCabe and Strzok and company came in here with the James Bakers of the world and intentionally lied to a federal court only to rig a presidential election by lying to the American public and using taxpayer dollars, likely illegally, to fund this entire operation, and then withhold exculpatory information from a federal court that I used to appear before to manhunt terrorists, that's what broke the FBI. And then when they were caught, they lied about it. And you and a few others like Dan and others were brave enough to cover it 6, 7, 8 years ago. And we're still talking about it today because as Congress is working rigorously with us, the Crossfire Hurricane documents are coming fast and hard. And they're being sent there unredacted so we can have full accountability. And that's how you restore what the trust that was lost to the American public when it comes to the FBI.
Yeah, but come on, Director, with all due respect, we've been talking about this for a long time, and I've been demanding accountability for many, many years. One of the, you mentioned Comey, Strzok, and the rest. They've got TV shows. They've got media platforms. They're fine. There's been no accountability.
Well, look, it's a fair criticism, but what I will tell people is we weren't here in the FBI in the last 5 years when we had statute of limitations that were still in play, where we could have investigated criminal conduct. Most of these statute of limitations are 5 years old. And we will investigate criminal conduct where we find a righteous case to do so, and the law and the facts allow us to. But a lot of it we're precluded from. So we'll take the criticism, and it's rightfully so. Like, could we have done more in the past? Sure, people before us could have. But what we can do now is continue to put out the documents and the information that these people withheld from the American public. And I'm just telling you right now, as much as we know about Crossfire Hurricane, he and I just found out more last week. And we're continuing to work with Congress to put those documents out. That's how vindictive and vicious the former leadership structure here was. Not only did they bastardize the FISA process and lie to the American public, they withheld and hid documentation and put it in rooms where people weren't supposed to look. And it's a good thing we're here now to clean it up, and you're about to see a wave of transparency.
What do you mean?
Just give us about a week or two.
Okay. Well, I can tell you right now that the judge that gave a smack on the wrist on the one agent that lied and, misled the American people, that's the same judge who's back and stopping Donald Trump from doing things, isn't it? Judge Boasberg?
Yeah, I just got to push back. Listen, we've been here 2 months. He's been here a couple more weeks than that. I mean, we've been here 2 months. You're dealing with a 38,000 member organization and an approximately $12 billion budget.
Fair point.
Where to expect us in 2 months to dig up what was a 8-year, maybe longer, multi-year politicized investigation with multiple layers of processes, from Woods procedures being just thrown in the garbage can and flushed down the toilet bowl, to multiple layers of accountability where people lied and obfuscated. I'm not asking you to trust me. You want this done right or you want it done quickly? Because you can't have it both ways. You want it done quickly, we'll do it. And you know what'll happen? Just what happened last time. Those same Spygate collusion perpetrators sued the government, got money, got all this shit. You want that? We'll do it. We'll do it quickly and do it wrong.
But are you saying you found things that even you didn't know about? I mean, you were at the core of this.
Yes. I was the lead Russiagate investigator. for the House Intelligence Committee, and I've been on both your shows in a prior life talking about it. And I'm telling you and the American public that we have now found material and information and people who wanted to hide it from the world since we got in these seats. And we, as the deputy said, we are trying to do it in a fashion where not only are we informing the American public of what happened, but we can have accountability for it. And that takes a little bit more time. And when you layer on the fact that we are rolling out our priorities on violent crime and defending the homeland, you know, we're running a 3-part animal here, and we're going 100 miles an hour on each single one.
So important. It's just...
I want to add to that, too, because what the director's saying is right. You got to remember, we come in the morning, there's a portfolio of 100 level 10 items. If it's a level 9, which is a pretty big freaking deal, someone else fixed it. The only thing that gets to my desk or his is a level 10. That's the entire day. Look at his schedule any given day. I'll show you the palm card I have. It is filled from 7:30 to he leaves 7 at night, 6:30 at night. It's filled all day. We just can't focus on one thing. You want New York to go boom, DC to go boom. You want an OC organization to go hack into some cyber network and crack all of Fox News' holdings. We're dealing with all that stuff too. Everything's a priority. Everything's a priority. This is one of many things we're doing. It's not an excuse. It's just reality.
Now, the Democrats are turning on you, right? I mean, I saw your hearing the other day, and critics have accused you of using the FBI to target political enemies. So set the record straight. You wrote an entire book about it, Government Gangsters. Tell us, how do you respond to the attacks?
Very simply. The FBI's prior leadership left us an institution, that is a police force for America and the world, that allowed a fentanyl over.
All right, so that was Cash and Dan Bongino. Like I said, you got to watch the whole interview. But anyway, so yeah, and I just want to point out one thing Dan said in that video, which I thought was very important. Do you want things done right, or do you want it done quickly? Because you can't have it both ways. Understand, to build a foolproof case, you have to have all your ducks in a row, your I's dotted and your T's crossed. If there's anything the Democrats are masters at is the legal system. Not only have they installed all the judges, okay, they also have all the lawyers. And they can litigate these cases for the next 100 years and not get a conviction. So, and I'm not saying they will get a conviction, but at least if they've got all the evidence, you know, the court of public opinion will judge these people, even if we can't get them thrown in jail. And then somebody asked, and I thought this was a real good question. This was Armando Ciapelli, and he asked Grok, is there statute of limitations on the crime of treason? Because obviously Mayorkas committed treason, Blinken committed treason, Comey committed treason, you know, you name it. Pretty much everybody in the Biden administration committed treason. Now, Mayorkas, I think, has got the best chance of getting convicted. But I did want to read this to you. I got it in my notes. There is no, this is from Grok, by the way. I assume Grok is correct. There is no federal statute of limitations on the crime of treason. Under U.S. law, specifically 18 U.S.C. 3281, capital offenses, including treason, as defined in 18 U.S.C., can be prosecuted at any time without limitation. Treason is punishable by death or imprisonment for not less than 5 years, making it a capital offense subject to this rule. Now, the next person asked, you know, can we get Comey on treason? And Grok said, not a very good chance of that. So I wonder if you want to know whether these people can be convicted of treason, ask Grok. The one that I think would be the best, another good candidate, is Milley. Trump can reactivate Milley, bring him back into the military, and then that's a different form of, because then he's not in the federal court system. He's in the military code of justice. And I bet you could get a conviction there. And throw that son of a bitch in Leavenworth, right? You know, I'm just giving Trump some little notice here. Where are we at on the videos? So we did Cash and oh yeah, we're gonna do a reading here because I'm gonna add on to this video here. Yeah, we've got, this was Trump posted this. Well, you'll see it in the video. This is about Hillary Clinton. You didn't know a lot of people die around Hillary Clinton. And a lot of people suspect that the Clintons or the Clinton Foundation had a lot to do with these deaths. And I just let the video speak for itself. And this is just a small number of people. There's a lot more people that the Clintons have killed, you know, but never been proven though, never been proven. Let's watch that video.
Remember John F. Kennedy Jr.? He was declared the front runner for the New York Senate seat back in 1999. Days later, his plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and his rival, Hillary Clinton, was elected senator. Mary Mahoney was a Clinton White House intern. She knew enough of the inner workings of Bill's sexual advancements to be a star witness during the Clinton impeachment trials. She was brutally executed at a Starbucks she was managing in 1997. In 1993, White House counsel Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park near D.C. He supposedly killed himself, and among a lengthy list of potential foul play, the bullet was never found. Then there's James McDougal, a key witness for White House prosecutors. He was serving his 3-year sentence for bank fraud at the Fort Worth Federal Medical Center in Texas. And just before he was to give a testimony before the grand jury, McDougal suffered a heart attack in solitary confinement. In 2015, Walter Scheib, a White House chef hired under Bill Clinton, joined the list. His body was found at the bottom of a river, nearly 2 miles from the base of the trail he was reportedly hiking. An autopsy determined that Scheib's death was accidental drowning, but he might have known too much. 27-year-old Democratic National Committee staffer Seth Rich was shot and killed in D.C. this year. There is speculation that he was the source of the controversial leaked emails allegedly sent by DNC staffers, and that he may have been murdered in retaliation. Then Sean Lucas, the lead attorney in a fraud case against the DNC, was found lying on the bathroom floor by his girlfriend when she returned home on August 2nd. His death was reported classified, pending the results of an autopsy. To this day.
All right, so that was Trump's video on Hillary Clinton. But I wanted to follow that up because I don't know if you remember this, but this was when Comey, you know, remember they went in and they, I don't know why Trump went along with this in his first administration, but maybe I guess he just didn't know any better. But you remember when they set up General Flynn and arrested him? I don't even remember what the charge was. It was something really bogus. And said that he lied to the FBI or something like that. Anyway, this is Comey is actually admitting what he did, and the guy thinks he's above the law. I don't know if you knew the whole fiasco. Comey posted on Instagram a photo of 8647 was made by seashells, and people are going crazy saying he's calling for the assassination of Trump, which he is, you know, and that he could go to jail for that. I don't know. Doesn't seem like that great an offense, but when you consider Trump's been nearly killed twice, I would say the FBI has to take that seriously. But if you watch the interview, you understand they got a lot on their plate, and it's going to be a while before we get things under control. But let's watch Comey saying, "I sent them."
It's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the sit room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. The protocol, 2 men that all of us have perhaps increased appreciation for over the last 2 years. And in both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought, it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over. And so we placed a call to Flynn, said, hey, we're sending a couple guys over. Hope you'll talk to them. He said, sure. Nobody else was there. They interviewed him in a conference room at the White House Situation Room, and he lied to them. And that's what he's now pled guilty to.
What did he think they were coming over there for?
I don't think he knew. No, we didn't tell him. Just said, sending over a couple of agents. I want to ask you some questions. I didn't have this conversation, my deputy director did, but hope Hope you got a few minutes you can sit down and talk to them. And he said, sure.
All right, so there was that video. Now, I'm going to put the reading next, but after the reading, I want you to hang around for the end of the video, because I got one from Alex Jones. You know, my theory, because I was a demolitions expert, is that the, I'm going to give you the crunch, because we're just going to, I like this trail because it's a pretty trail. So sorry about the crunch. But anyway, Alex Jones, my theory was that the 9/11 was a controlled demolition of the buildings. And the main one, if you don't believe that the first two was a controlled demolition, Building 7 makes no sense whatsoever. And I don't know, by the way, there was a couple of things in that interview with Dan Bongino that they're going to start releasing. They're putting together all the files on January 6th. I mean, we all know that was a setup, but now they're going to prove it. So that'll be good. The other fact that blew my mind, and Dan Bongino, I believe him, you know, Dan Bongino's never lied that I can ever recall. He says that somehow Epstein killed himself, and they got the proof. How is that possible? I've been in solitary confinement. I don't even know how in the hell Epstein could kill himself, because there's nothing in there. I mean, they said he hung himself, but with what? I mean, maybe they were giving him stuff that I didn't get in solitary confinement. I don't know. Maybe he was treated, he had a blanket that he could hang himself with. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, so Dan Bongino says Epstein killed himself. I got to believe it. So anyway, let's get the reading in, and then watch the Alex Jones video on 9/11. That'll be at the end of the video. All right, see you in a minute. All right, I haven't got a whole lot of reading, so you're getting to the end of the video. This is Buzz Patterson on Hillary Clinton. As some of you know, I was the Air Force military aide for Bill Clinton, lived in the White House, traveled everywhere they traveled, and carried the nuclear football. As such, I was always in close proximity to both Bill and Hillary. Among the military who served in the White House and the professional White House staff, the Clinton administration was infamously known for its lack of professionalism and courtesy, though few ever spoke about it. But when it came to rudeness, it was Hillary Clinton who was the most feared person in the administration. She set the tone from the very first day in my assignment. When I first arrived to work in the White House, my predecessor warned me, "You can get away with pissing off Bill, but if you make her mad, she'll rip your heart out." I hated those words. I did make him mad a few times, but I never really pissed her off. I knew the ramifications. I learned very quickly that the administration's day-to-day character, whether inside or outside of D.C., depended solely on the presence or absence of Hillary. Her reputation preceded her. We used to say that when Hillary was gone, it was a frat party. When she was home, it was Schindler's List. In my first few days on the job, I remember I essentially lived there. I realized there were different rules for Hillary. She instructed the senior staff, including me, that she didn't want to be forced to encounter us. We were instructed that whenever Ms. Clinton is moving through the halls, be as inconspicuous as possible. She did not want to see staff and be forced to interact with anyone, no matter their position in the building. Many a time, I'd see mature professional adults working in the most important building in the world, scurrying into office doorways to escape Hillary's line of sight. I'd hear whispering, "She's coming, she's coming." I could be walking down a West Wing hallway midday, busier than hell, people doing the administration's work, whether it's in the press office, medical unit, whatever. She'd walk in and they'd scatter. She was the Nazi school ma'am, and the rest of us were expected to hide as though we were kids in trouble. I wasn't a kid. I was a professional officer and pilot. I said, "I'm not doing that." There was a period of time when she attempted to ban military uniforms in the White House. It was the re-election year of 1996, and she was trying to craft the narrative that the military was not a priority in the Clinton administration. As a military aide carrying the football and working closely with the Secret Service, I objected to that. I simply wasn't a It simply wasn't a matter of her political agenda. It was national security. If the balloon went up, the Secret Service would need to find me as quickly as possible. Seconds mattered. Finding the aide in the military uniform made complete sense. Besides, what commander-in-chief wouldn't want his advisors and leadership to advise his leadership and command? She finally relented because the Secret Service weighed in. The Clintons are corrupt beyond words. Hillary is evil, vindictive, and profane. Hillary is a bitch. And that's true of all women Democrats, man. You know a woman Democrat? She's a bitch. All right, let's keep going. I did want to read to you about the sub, because this is real short. 16 missiles with the range of 10,000 kilometers, not miles, excuse me, I think I said miles, on one submarine. The nuclear colossus shocked Poland and its allies. May 17th, 2025. At a time when the global security climate is becoming increasingly tense, the Polish public is alarmed by the announcement that the Russian submarine Prince Poharski is approaching its first major operational phase, and then it goes into the thread from there. But I'm baiting the hook because that'll be on the next video. And also I've got another one that you're going to really enjoy. This is the Trump's Art of the Deal, Transformed Middle East Politics, and there's another whole thread on how what he did in the Middle East. We're too long in the tongue on this video. Unless we see some nature on the way back. Peace out. Stay free. Check this out, a little baby turtle. I feel bad, I almost stepped on him. I'm glad I didn't. Cute little guy, and you know, if I wanted a pet turtle, but that's cruel. They need to be in the wild, you know. But as a kid, I'm sure I would have made him a pet. All right, I wanted to get this tree on the video because it's a cool looking tree. And sorry about the crunch, but I'm lost again. I don't know where the hell I'm at. But I got a headlamp in the bag. If it takes me till dark to get back, so be it. But I did want to talk about, I don't know if you followed the news, but I want to say it was 16 people, but I don't know the exact number, that just got killed by the tornadoes in the Midwest. And who was it? Was it Einstein that said the definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? And the reason I throw that out, well, that's that Trump, getting back to Trump, he's going to do the same thing, try to negotiate with Putin. Putin's already, I mean, you got to understand, the Russians say what they mean. Putin just said, this is the minimum that we're going to take, and we can work from there. And then Trump's going to say, oh, you know, what about this and what about that? It's just going to be a waste of time, Putin. Hopefully also Putin will straighten Trump out. Trump said he said that Russia's economy was suffering and that the lower gas prices are really hurting them. Are you kidding me? Russia's economy's firing on all thrusters, man. Just go to, and I wish Trump would go to Moscow and just see what it looks like. His jaw would hit the floor because he lives in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is just a freaking cesspool. You know, which when you go to Moscow, that is one beautifully clean, wonderful city. I wish I could go, but I'm too crippled. I'll never be able to go anywhere because I got all my medical stuff in my house. Unless I put together some sort of portable medical and charter if I could charter a private plane, I guess I could go. Because I could set it up the way I need it. Just being silly. But anyway, you know, it's kind of like here in Florida. And I don't understand. If you're going to build a house in Florida, the bare minimum that you want is hurricane-proof windows. Now, the codes on the interior of the state, a lot of times, I don't think they require hurricane-proof windows, which is stupid, okay? Because if a hurricane comes over, it's sometimes, you know, tornadoes get spun off. And, you know, even in the interior of Florida, now I'm not sure the hurricane-proof windows would save the house, but it certainly would, it'd take a hell of a blow to shatter through them, whereas regular windows, you know, any type of hurricane is just going to take them right out. So I'm coming up on a turn. I I guess we'll go this way. So anyway, if you're gonna build a house in the Midwest in a tornado zone, damn it, why don't you build tornado-proof housing? Okay? And the best way to do that is what I call an earth home. Go ahead and grok it or Google it or DuckDuckGo it or whatever you want to do. What is an earth home? And by the way, you get the geothermal effects with an earth home. And that's the way all houses should be built in the Midwest. Now, okay, yeah, they're going to be a lot more expensive than just a regular stick-built house. But damn it, you're not going to lose your freaking life in an earth home. You can drive a freaking backhoe or a bulldozer over top of an earth home, and it won't hurt it at all. And plus, heating and cooling your utilities will be nothing, because you get that geothermal effect of the earth all around the house. You know, anyway, I'm just throwing that out. The other story that I thought was, I wouldn't call it entertaining because people lost their lives, but it was actually a celebration with the Brooklyn Bridge that just got hit by a ship. How many bridges are going to get hit by ships these days? I don't know, man. Plus, that thing was a monster. Did you see the size of that ship? I mean, what in the hell are they letting it go underneath the Brooklyn Bridge? You know, I understand it lost power, so I guess it went under a lower section of the bridge or something. Who knows how that took place? Anyway, just wanted to chime. Oh boy, spider! Almost walked right into him. Look at him. Daggone it, they're out now. Wonder if I can get underneath him. Yeah, we're gonna go underneath him here. Oh man, God dang it, I've got arachnophobia. I can't stand spiders, man. I can't stand spiders. Now I'm really screwed. You go that way, that way. Wait a minute, I think I might kind of know where I'm at. I believe this is the main trail back here. Well, I guess we'll find out. Boy, that spider, oh, thank God I didn't walk right into him. Well, luckily I had the camera up in front of me, so I would have hit the camera first, but, oh man, that was right at face level. Oh, the face full of spider. Oh. Hey, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I found a tick on me. The ticks are out, damn it. So there's a little guy, I plucked him off, but I'm gonna have to really start checking for ticks when I get home from after these hikes. Man, look at the last few hikes. Got bit by a spider multiple times. I still got the welts on me. The pus was coming out of it. I had another tick that I found on me. I've almost stepped on 2 snakes. I had one lunge at me. And now I almost walked into a spider. The things I do for you making these videos, I hope you appreciate it, man. I hope you appreciate it. I'm hoping that I'm on my way to the picnic table, and that'll finish off the video, and then I can just enjoy the hike back, unless we get some more nature. You know, if I see a deer or something, we'll get it on the video. Boy, this could be a long day. Just wanted to get a little view of this. There's been no markers. I'm not sure I'm on a trail at this point. God, I'm gonna hate to hike back. I'm pretty far up here. You know, you're just seeing the next clip. I've been walking for a while. But this might not be a trail. It doesn't look like a trail, does it? Dang, nabbit, I thought I knew where I was. Well, that'll learn me. Maybe let's keep going, see if we see a marker. So what would you do? There's a marker on that tree. I just came up that, which I don't think was a trail. And I'm thinking if I keep going this way, we're gonna get to that picnic table. But it doesn't look like a trail. Oh man. Well, I took a side trail. I know I've never hiked this before. Instead of going to the picnic table, let's just go, at least I know I'm on a trail going this way. And we'll just do a stand-up video rather than, because I really wanted the picnic table. But oh well, that's too bad. I do see another marker beyond this one. See a double diamond? That means there's a turn right there. So maybe the trail's gonna move to the left, and that'll, once again, I think, be taking me to the picnic table. We'll see what happens. Maybe somebody can explain to me what these are. See these little holes? If I stand here, something will start moving around in that hole. I don't think these are ants. You see how many of them there are? You know, it's like being at the beach with those sand crabs. Something is down in those holes. I'm not gonna check it out. I'm gonna leave whatever it is alone. But see how they're all along the trail, and every now and then you see some sand kicking up out of the hole. Weird. You always got to get the weird stuff on the video. Getting too much nature on the video is going to get long in the tooth. But I just thought this was cool looking, and I'm really lost. I don't know. The sun's on my left, and I'm pretty sure it was on my right, so I might be heading back for all I know. So, by accident, which means we definitely won't get the picnic table. Well, I kind of think I recognize that trail in front of me. I'm thinking just work our way back to the car if I can figure out where the hell I am, and forget about the picnic table, because we're just not going to get there. And I don't know what this road is. Let's go down here a ways and see if the picnic table's down there, because I don't recognize it. What is that on the ground? I'm going to go see what that is. I think that's just that's probably just a pine cone. Okay. All right. Let's go this way just a little ways and see if we can find the picnic table. If not, well, the sun is on my left. I'm not sure what that means. God, I guess I kind of enjoy being lost. And people have always asked me, why don't you get a compass? Yeah, I could get a compass. And if I really get lost, I'll break out because I got a compass on the phone. And then I'll just, work my way, whenever you're lost, just work your way in one direction, and eventually you're going to come to something like a road. It's not like in the United States that you're going to walk, well, maybe in a national forest. I was going to say 100 miles in the forest. Most of the time you're going to come to something sooner or later. All right, I turned around, and I'm going to put the sun behind me and just head east just until I figure out where the hell. Because I'm trying to get back at this point. And anyway, I just was listening to Handle on the Law, and he was talking about this woman called in, and her husband had a bunch of different bank accounts, and they put their joint name on a few of them, and a few of them they didn't. I will tell you, there's a mixed game with having multiple names on the account. So, like, if you got an elderly parent, like I did, and well, maybe not a crazy elderly parent, because my mother was batshit crazy. I hope I don't turn batshit crazy. Maybe that's a sign of the family here. And anyway, but if the easiest way to deal with the account is to get your name on the account. Now, a lot of parents don't trust their kids, so they don't want their kids on the account. I never took a dime from my parents, but Mom was nuts about me being on her accounts. And then when she died, it was a pain in the ass dealing with her bank accounts. Same with my dad. And then, of course, the other one that hurt me the most was I had my ex-wife on the bank accounts. And when she moved out while I was in the hospital with a broken neck and stole everything, when I tried to, basically get her name off of those accounts, because she did leave some of the joint accounts, which was my money for the most part, and her lawyer told her to just leave those accounts. I couldn't get her name off. And she even signed paperwork to try to take her name off. No, that worked. Oh, I recognize this. I am going the right way. I'm heading back. All right, folks, we're not lost no more. Woohoo! By the way, the picnic table is most definitely that way. We were close to it, but like I said, I took a wrong turn earlier today. I didn't make any video of it, so I've already hiked one hell of a long ways, and it's 6:30, well, almost getting to be 7 o'clock, so I haven't got that much daylight left. I don't want to be back here in the dark. All right, so anyway, so having a joint, my recommendation if you're married, have one joint account. Now, we've got to remember, I was married 21 years. Everybody says, well, how can you know whether you can trust your wife or not? I'm going to tell you right now, you can't. I did not see that divorce coming whatsoever. Now, looking back on it, hindsight's 20/20. I should have seen it, But at the time, I was blissfully happy with the whole thing. All right, so just wanted to give you some banking account advice. The reading video is only going to take a minute. We'll get it when we get to the main drag. Well, I listen to the radio because I always add to the videos. It was plus this is a good nature scene right here. Look at that to the left and to the right. I do like this trail. That's why I said I recognize this trail. But anyway, a woman called in and she's all upset because somebody on her YouTube channel called her a racist. My stepsister called me a racist all the time. Said, "You're just a white racist," because she's a freaking Democrat lunatic. You know, I said, "Do you realize that my commanding officer was black in the military? Do you think I really cared about his skin color? I just wanted to stay alive, you know." But anyway, so, but I whenever somebody complains about that, who cares, man? I tell people, just call me asshole, because you know I'm an asshole. If you watch any of my videos, you just say, "Hey, that cybersecurity guy, you're an asshole." Yep, damn right I am. Proud of it too. All right. I wanted to get this nature shot on it. I want to run a survey on X when I get home. Which do you prefer? The Mockingbird media, the parrot media, or the legacy media? All three seem pretty darn good. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble.
Senator Ron Johnson says 9/11 hearings are being planned, and they are going to look directly at the controlled demolition of Building 7, which is absolutely smoking gun. The deputy head of emergency management on record saying they blew it up. The owner saying they decided to pull the building and watch it come down, which is demolition term, destroy it. They show them do it. Local newscasts, NPR, BBC 2 channels, CNN 2 channels, headline news and regular CNN at the time. World Trade Center 7 didn't just blow itself up.
Well, start with Building 7. Again, I don't know that you can find structural engineers other than the ones that have the corrupt investigation inside NIST that would say that that thing didn't come down in any other way than a controlled demolition. I mean, you just look at that. You talk about molten steel. Again, you listen to the documentary Bravo 7. There's an awful lot of questions. You know, who ordered the removal and then destruction of all that evidence? Totally contrary to any other firefighting investigation procedures. I mean, who ordered that? Who was in charge? I think there's some basic information. Where's all the documentation from the NIST investigation? No, there are a host of questions that I want, and I will be asking, quite honestly, now that my eyes have been opened up. I've talked to former Congressman Kurt Weldon now. I will work with him to expose what he's willing to expose as well.
Wow, so we may actually see hearings about this.
I think so. And by the way, this was opened up when my ranking member now, when he was chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee Investigation, he did the investigation on the PGA and LIV Golf and the PIF. Part of that is we had 9/11 families coming forward and saying, we want the FBI files unredacted. We want those made available in terms of what happened. What did the FBI know had happened? So we got engaged with that on a bipartisan basis. We want to get those answers, those documents for the families. Again, we didn't get squat from the FBI. So hopefully now with this administration, I think President Trump should have some interest being a New Yorker from himself. What actually happened at 9/11? What do we know? What is being covered up? My guess is there's an awful lot being covered up in terms of what the American government knows about 9/11.
In late February of 2007, 9/11 researchers reviewing archives of live news coverage from September 11th discovered to their shock that BBC World had reported that Building 7, also known as the Salomon Brothers building, had completely collapsed over 20 minutes before its actual implosion. First anchors at the London news desk reported it.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago, I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the...
They then cut to BBC reporter Jane Stanley in New York, who also reported that the Salomon Brothers building had fallen, all the while with the building clearly visible behind her through the window.
Our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. There's almost a sense downtown in New York behind me, down by the World Trade Centers, of just an area completely closed off as the rescue workers try to do their job.
Do you know what it's going to do when Senator Ron Johnson has hearings in his corruption oversight committee, anti-corruption? Because he's not going to eat around the edges. It is 100% cut and dry that the government blew up Tower 1, 2, and 7, and we have the newscast. We have the reporters. I've interviewed the cops that heard the 10-second countdown. I heard them that day on CBS radio and saw them say it. But back then there wasn't X or Facebook. People didn't have it then. It took 5 years till all the networks didn't even think, and all at the same time uploaded the day's events. And we finally had all the videos everyone had seen and heard, where they said, we're going to blow up Building 7. And then later they blew it up and go, we didn't say that. CBS News, NPR, CNN, 2 channels, BBC, 2 channels of BBC. And they gaslit and went, nobody said that. Ooh. Then I interviewed the head of emergency management, deputy head, who was there, and they said, no, we blew it up. And then 2 weeks after he's on the show, they murder him. Barry Jennings. I've interviewed in person the police officers that we saw on PBS saying, get back, they're going to bring the building down, Building 7. And we went and found them and interviewed them. Can you imagine Ron Johnson interviewing those people and playing the news and calling in, subpoenaing the reporters? And to get ahead of it, 2 years after, they released a PBS special narrated by Kevin Spacey. Where Larry Silverstein, that owned the buildings, including 7, that was the CIA and FBI headquarters in New York, the second largest base of the CIA in the U.S., that they blew it up. Open and shut. And do you know what that does to the globalists? Just like the information on the human trafficking of children all coming out. We got a big guest in the 3rd hour on that. With the eyewitnesses, the video, the government shipping the kids in, not losing them, shipping them in themselves. Oh, they've got a problem. So, if they thought shutting me up would fix their problems, and they said that in congressional hearings 8 years ago, Jones seems to be the epicenter in our studies of all these problems. Well, I think the detonator kind of did its job. Use a weapons analogy. It's like I was a 2,000-pound bomb that got dropped into the enemy's main weapons depot, 50 warehouses of explosives. And then you see a mushroom cloud from 20 miles away and the ground rocks, and you go, you think that bomb hit its target? Gee, I don't know. Yeah. Real satisfaction. Not pride. I don't feel, ooh, I'm powerful. Ooh, I did that. No, satisfaction. Just satisfaction. Real down-home satisfaction. Completion. There's nothing more satisfying than crushing evil. Feels so good. Feels better than a beautiful sunset or taking that first delicious bite of a perfectly cooked ribeye. It feels better than taking a roll in the hay with your sweetheart. It feels more fulfilling than bouncing your baby on your knee. It's more fulfilling than the first time you get touched by the Holy Ghost. Because when the Holy Ghost is in war mode and you're at the tip of the spear as an instrument, God's telling you at every cell in your body, son, I like what you're doing. And all I want to say is, yes, sir, thank you for keeping me in the game, Almighty God. Whatever happens to me, I'm in your hands, in your perfect vision and plan. And if I'm hanging in a warehouse by my toes and they're pulling my teeth out with pliers, I'm going to be saying, thank you, Jesus. Because the success we've had has been unparalleled in history. We blew up the Death Star. This audience of activists. And we still got an Imperial fleet to take out. And we're not done yet.